So white women could sleep with the whole basketball team and get wife, but when black women go to Daytona Beach and act the same way, they're not gonna get married. Please, y'all have to stop with the fucking this propaganda. Like we have to stop. So the girls going wild get their happy ending, but the black women who went to Houston don't get a happy ending. Please stop this. Y'all have to stop the madness. So like I don't think it's fair that y'all have so many critiques and criticism for black women who went to Houston and Daytona and did the things that they did out there for spring break, but don't have the same energy for other races of women. Because those are the same women who do the same things and more and still get wifed. Please, like y'all have to stop the propaganda. Like if y'all gonna be having all these strict rules and regulations, y'all need to have it for everybody across the board. All these different women are getting on here saying, "Oh, I see why the men is not marrying y'all," and da da da. Like y'all about to have a heart attack. Chill. The reason men are not marrying us is because they don't want to marry us. That's what it come down to. A man gonna act right for who he want to act right for. Please stop giving it more thought than it has to. Men are very simple. A man gonna marry and do right by who he want to do right by. That's all. That's it. That's all. Like it don't matter if you was a 304 yesterday or the president's
What?
ex-wife. If they want you and they
Really?
deem you as someone they want to be with, they're gonna do right by you. I promise you. There's so
Bro, I'm gonna touch on what she was speaking on in the last bit of her video when she mentioned that we don't care if she had a whole past, we're still going to wife her. I don't know if it's with these sucker ass dudes that are out here, right? Or whichever one of you niggas are out here implanting that in the minds of these women that they will still get wifed up after, being promiscuous. I don't know what you guys are doing to these girls, but the majority of men who have a brain and who these women actually want, the same, whenever they say that they want a man that's making 6 figures a year, etc., that man does not want a woman that has a promiscuous past, right? But we're gonna get into that. The first thing that I want to touch on is why does she have this mentality that because white women are doing something means that it's completely okay for black women to do it? So just because you see white women whenever they're out in their functions, you see them, throwing up ass and, being promiscuous, wearing skimpy ass clothes, etc. You believe that you should do the same thing just because you see them doing it. That's something interesting that she said, right? Because it really and truly just opens the minds of most women, especially black women, right? Because let's take it back to the whole invention of feminism, right? Feminism was created by a white woman and made for predominantly white women, right? And it's interesting to see how the majority of black women, with the conditions that we already have in our community, it's very interesting to see them pick up this mentality that was first originated from white women, right? And these are the same groups of women whenever they're already there, they will jump up and then, scream at white women for doing this and scream at them for being racist, etc., etc. When you guys are literally out here trying to be exactly like them, right? So it doesn't make any sense to me. So you denounce them for doing other things, right? But when it comes to hoeing out, you want, everyone should be included. It just doesn't make any sense to me, right? And the fact that she mentioned that men will marry who they want to marry, yes, of course, a man the gateway to marriage is through a man because he is the one that gets on his knees, right, and proposes to the woman, right? So of course, a man is going to marry who he wants to marry, but he's not the men that they want. That the high performers, the high achievers, they're not going to get on their knee to marry a woman that's making 6 figures or more. That's fucking ridiculous, bro. And you know what's interesting that I find about most black women? And you can every black man that's out there, boy, whatever, right? Every black man that's out there that's listening to this right now, you're gonna understand what I'm trying to say here is when you're growing up as a youth in the community, in the culture, you're going to realize that a lot of the women, their mindset is not fixated on, marriage or growth or anything like that, right? And what I'm trying to say here is that, bro, the majority of black women, they have it in their minds that they can be, promiscuous, they can be a hoe, they can do all these things, right? And then in the end, they will find some sucker, some square that's going to come around and then marry them. I realize that that is a mindset, right, that is propagated amongst the majority of women in the community. And it's just sad to say that there are actually dumbass men out there that's going to, look at women who are like this and then take them seriously, right? But believe 100% the men that they want are not going to actually want them, right? So, I mean, and by the way, why is she out here trying to fight for being a hoe? Bro, it's like anything that has to deal with a woman having freedom, if they have to link it back to being promiscuous. I just always find it kind of weird. Like she's sitting here trying to be the PR team for, being a hoe. It's actually insane, right? And why is it that whenever they're outside, why can't they just have a good time? Just party, maybe have like a few shots, but why does it have to be, throwing up ass all the time? Why does it have to be, having sex with, a multitude of people? And that's why spring break there was this STD outbreak, of course, right? Because all these women, bro, everyone waits until spring break comes for them to all go into one spot, and then it's just a huge STD fest. That's essentially what break is. It's a STD fest, right, filled with thousands of people. Right, so I just don't understand why they can't just link up in one area, have fun without it having to deal with like sex and everything. Because the entire purpose of spring break is just to have sex. No one is really and truly partying just to have fun, bro. Right? And here we have this woman that's sitting down there trying to be the fucking PR team, right? For being promiscuous. I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's just weird to me. And yeah, man, like it's more and more and more, bro. There's gonna come a point in time where the majority of women, especially black women, and I've said earlier in the video that we don't have the privilege, right, of our women being this promiscuous without there being any type of huge consequences on the back end of it, right? And this is where you see a lot of these YNs are popping out, and you're seeing more crime in the black community because guess what? The boys that are in there are growing up without their fathers, etc., etc., right? So we don't have the luxury that white women have whenever you see them out and about doing their fuck shit. We don't have that type of luxury, right? And for a group of women that love to talk about how black men need to come together and make the community stronger, we need to set the example for the children. Okay, cool, we understand that, we hear that, but why don't you women set the example for the younger black girls that are also growing up, right? Because then they're going to come up and then repeat the same cycle, repeat the same bullshit over and over and over and over and over again. And as I said before, we don't have the luxury as the people in the white community, because yes, white women can be promiscuous and they can get married to a guy that's making 80, 90, 100 grand a year. You guys don't have that same fucking luck. I'm sorry. I'm I'm sorry to break it to you. You don't have that same luck. You just don't have that same luck, right? So I mean, it's just interesting, man. The more and more time goes on, is the more and more you have women trying to be the PR team for them for them being out there and being promiscuous. It's interesting to me, right? And another thing that I've realized is that everything today is just so sexual. Why does it have to be so sexual? I don't understand it, right? It's just, when you look at the women in the culture, you don't see women that are marriageable. You just don't see it. Everyone wants to be an Instagram model. Everyone wants to show their ass when they go outside. Everyone wants to show their cleavage whenever they go outside. You don't see any women within the community trying to be marriageable. So she's sitting there talking about that, oh, men will marry who they want to marry, etc., etc. You're damn right we will, right? But the thing is, will they marry you? That's the question. Yes, men marry who they want to marry, but will they marry you, right? And that's the question that most women don't ask themselves, right? Are they marriage worthy? Right, because when you look, and this is why you see a lot of successful black men, they're looking outside of the community to have their, relationships, marriage, and even some of them go to the extent of, having children with these women outside the culture. And whenever these things happen, we have women within the culture complain and cuss about it, right? But if this is the mentality and the behavior of the majority of the women within the culture, then what do you expect those men to fucking do? Right? So it just these are the different things that we need to think about whenever we try to come on the internet and make some bullshit ass statements just like what this woman was trying to make. But anyways, so this is the end of this video. I'm going to wrap it up right here, but let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Subscribe if you like the content and like the video if you agree with my talking points. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. So peace out.